Today in class, the students learned about the partial quotients method for division. It's a little bit different than the traditional long division method that you may be familiar with, so this video is going to help you so that if you need to help your student at home, you can do that. So we are going to learn about partial quotients with Here's the first example for partial quotients division. We're going to divide 364 by 3. So the thing that's different about partial quotients is that instead of writing our answer up on top of the problem like we would do in traditional division, we are going to write our answer along the side here. So we are going to think about numbers that go into 364 and are somewhat close to 364. So I know that if I multiply 3 by 100, I'm going to get 300. So I'm going to put that first quotient down over here. All right, then it's the same as long division where I'm going to multiply that by my divisor. So I'm going to subtract 300. And I'm going to get 64. So now I continue to think about numbers that I can divide into 64 by 3. So I know if I multiply 3 by 20, that I'm going to get 60. So I can start there and I can subtract 60. Okay, I still have to keep going because 3 can still go into 4 one more time. So I'm going to subtract 3 because I'm multiplying 1 by 3. All right, now I'm left with 1 over here. I know that I can stop because the number that I'm left with is smaller than my divisor of 3. So that's how you know when you're done. So now I need to add up my partial quotients on the side over here. So I'm going to add up 1, 2, 1. So my answer is 121 with a remainder of 1. So that's one example. I'm going to do one more example, and this is divisor. So this is 465 divided by 13. And this one's really great because it has a 2-digit divisor. So it's going to show you that no matter what numbers you're multiplying, you're still going to get the same divisor. And you can do it in a multitude of ways. All right, so we're going to draw our line over here. And again, I want to think of numbers that go in that I can multiply by 13. That's going to get me somewhat close to 465. So I'm going to start with 30. Because I know if I multiply 13 by 3, I'm going to get 39, and I can just add that 0 there. So I'm going to have 390 is the number that I need to subtract. And I could even double check and do 13 times 3. Great, I know that's 39, and I can just add the 0. So 5 minus 0 is 5. I need to borrow. And 16 minus 9 is 7. Okay, so now I need to think of numbers that I can multiply 13 by that will go into 75. Well, I know that I can multiply by 3, so why don't I start there? So I'm going to put a 3 here. Okay, and then I'm going to do 13 times 3 to get 39. I'm going to subtract that. And then I can do 75 minus 39. So I'm going to need to borrow. All right, so I can't put in 13 3 times, but I know that I can put it in 2 times. And if I do 13 times 2, I get 26. And in the beginning, your students still may need to do these multiplication problems over here to double check, and that is perfectly fine. Okay, so now I know that I can stop. I'm going to draw a red circle around that because I have 10 left over. 13 cannot go into 10 at all because 10 is smaller than 13. So I'm going to add up my quotients over here. So 465 divided by 13 is your answer is 35 with the remainder of 10. Or your student could write that as a fraction and they could write 35 and 10/13. So hopefully this helped you with partial quotients and you now understand that no matter what what numbers you're multiplying by, your divisor by, these numbers over here are still going to add up to the correct quotient, as long as they're doing their multiplication correctly. If your student didn't know that 13 times 30 was 390, they could just simply start with 13 times 10, put that in 3 times, and then subtract. That would work as well. You're going to get the same result in the end. So hopefully this helped you with partial quotients.